Hi guys, and welcome to the Nature or Nurture at Ratwise event. We're sticking with nature, as in the genetic side of things, as our video today explores the concept of functional characters in rats. Functional characters are well described in species like wolves and dogs, but we've only just begun to explore them in the context of rats. I learned about functional characters from Isla Fishburne, who was a wolf researcher but now works with dogs and their people. Around the same time as I was studying under Isla, I started noticing that there were roles allocated to wild rats in ethological and observational studies. Words like scout and lookout cropped up at times, always the same rat, as though this was their job. And that's exactly what functional characters are: genetically driven roles with an evolutionary purpose to benefit the social group. These benefits include things like increased stability, harmony, and confidence. Because rats are prey animals, they have an exaggerated need to feel safe. I call this felt safety. Functional characters bring order and protection and are thought to increase felt safety while getting all the necessary jobs done without friction. Functional characters are thought to be genetically determined and present from birth. They can, for instance, be observed in a litter of canine puppies by an experienced observer. So, which functional characters exist in rat groups? A few roles are already described from observational studies of wild rat colonies. Others I'm suggesting as likely on the back of my observations of pet rat groups and the work with dogs. So the first functional character in rats is the guide or priority individual. In the hierarchical model, this rat would be called the alpha. But since the alpha status is not even observed in wild females, priority individual is a much better, more honest concept for pet rats. This is the rat who guides the group and who other rats defer to. I believe there are many reasons why a rat might hold this position, depending on what is ultimately valued by the group. Felt safety will be high on that list, and a rat who is socially and emotionally intelligent is more likely to engage in pro-social behaviors like reciprocity, altruism, and empathy, all of which have been described in rat studies. It may be that this increases the felt safety of the rest of the group, creating a social debt towards the pro-social rat. Or it may be that they are able to guide the group in ways that we have yet to understand. One thing is for sure, that being top rat is not about being bossy or aggressive. This leads us nicely on to looking at the beta status roles if you're still thinking of the hierarchical model. These include defender, enforcer, overseer, observer, and scout. I should point out at this stage that not all rat groups have all the roles covered, and that some rats will cover multiple roles. I'll expand on that in a minute, but first let's do a quick run through of the roles I've just mentioned. The defender role is often redundant in pet rat groups, but can surface during introductions. A defender keeps the group safe from unknown rats and other dangers. Redundant defenders may take the priority individual role or turn their tiny hands to enforcing. The enforcer maintains order within the group, often peacefully through hierarchical behavior like grooming, but they will tell rats off or even punish them if they feel it is necessary. These two roles are sometimes combined in one rat called a defender enforcer. Next, we have the overseer, the observer, and the scout. The overseer watches the group, the observer watches the world, and the scout explores the world, looking for resources for the group. The overseer identifies internal struggles, and the observer who's often called the lookout in rat studies, identifies the external issues. Then we have the roles that would equate to gamma in the hierarchical model. Interestingly, although gamma is considered low-ranking status, I suspect that some of these roles would actually gain a rat respect within a functional group. So at this level, we have the follower, who is the jack of all trades mentioned above. The follower can fill in where needed to support the other roles. Next, a role that's easy to spot, the peacemaker. This is a kind of standalone role, or even could be a dual role in a priority individual, particularly in a female group, as similar traits are needed. This is one reason why the hierarchical model is so clunky, because how can a rat be alpha and gamma at the same time? Then we have the guardian or nanny, the rat who enjoys juveniles and is always willing to help with raising kittens. I used to have a male rat who stood out in this role. I could always rely on him to take a group of male babies under his wing, even at 5 weeks when just separating from their mum. He was gentle, warm, and receptive, and seemed to thoroughly enjoy the experience. Female nannies are much more common. The helper is a similar role, but it extends to caring for vulnerable adult rats, perhaps bringing food or sleeping alongside them on the cage floor when they can no longer climb. And then we have the zeta rat from the hierarchical model. They are called the lone individual. I think these rats are often victims of social disruption, and for some rats at least, this may be a trauma response, especially in girls. They hang around on the fringes of the group but tend to often be alone. Male lone individuals are often bullied into that position by an enforcer, again the result of social stress rather than a genetic predisposition. However, I've included the term because there may occasionally be genetically predisposed lone individuals, as extreme introversion and autism have been described in rat research. This is a very quick run through of a nuanced and interesting topic. At Ratwise, we would run a topic like this over a month or more so that I could expand on how to spot which rats are functioning in the different roles and ways in which knowing the roles that are represented in your group can help you in many practical situations that arise. Functional characters mitigate stress because they provide cohesion and confidence for the rats in a group. However, when they collide with anxious, neophobic, or aggressive temperamental traits, the tables can turn. Then a priority individual, defender, or enforcer can become a difficult, anxious, or forceful individual in a role that affects the well-being of the whole group. Anxious overseers can also be extremely disruptive because they can pester the other rats continually and cause frustration. So functional characters are one part of the genetic context that makes up the whole rat, and when combined with temperamental traits, go most of the way towards explaining why a rat behaves the way they do from a genetic perspective. However, the rat will also be influenced greatly by nurture, and our next two concept videos will look at the two external factors that have the most impact on stress resilience. I'll finish off by repeating that not all groups are made up of all the different functional characters, and that doesn't really matter in pet rat groups as they don't face the same dangers and stresses as wild rats. The exception might be the priority individual, because most groups need a leader to create security and confidence in the group. A kind defender or enforcer could do this too. Sometimes individuals fulfill or support several roles. Equally, some roles can be covered by several cooperative rats, who between them can make up for the lack of a specific functional character. If you've enjoyed this video and would like to see more, it would really help to get this YouTube channel off the ground if you would like and subscribe. If you're interested in knowing more about any of the topics we discuss, one topic that is open to you is the Ratwise membership. We have hundreds of archived videos, PDFs, and discussions that are immediately available to you on the group as soon as you join. And let's continue the discussion over on the Nature or Nurture at Ratwise Facebook group. See you over there.